Hey everyone, welcome to My Rising Rose, where we expand our consciousness to unite with the cosmic family that exists all around us, all these different interdimensional beings, dragons, goddesses. And we do that while remaining ordinary and grounded in our humanity. We don't need to get really detached or in some kind of delusional state while we're connecting with these things. We don't need to go into some kind of ego aggrandizement. We just remain ordinary, grounded human being. And today I want to channel Gorkoreth for you, who is the black dragon of the Rising Rose. But I also just want to mention that I'm kind of noticing that people are thinking of me as like this dragon guy, as if that's like, that's what I do. I channel dragons. And for this year, that's definitely one of the focuses. But that isn't the only thing that calls to me and that I feel focused on. And I can already feel that there's a shift coming for next year where there'll be a movement more into the realm of the gods and goddesses who have been connecting with me for 10 years or so, and to really give them the opportunity to shine and come through. At the moment, it's the year of the dragon, so it's all good. But I just want to put that out there, that isn't the only thing that we're going to be doing on this channel. There's much more to learn. That said, we're running Dragon Medicine at the moment. We've got 3 groups going, and the next opportunity to join will be in January, on the 8th of January and the 9th of January. We've got group 3 moving into the middle chakra dragons, which is the heart, the throat, and the third eye. So they do that on Wednesday, the 8th of January. And then on Thursday, the 9th of January, you've got group 1 moving into the upper chakra dragons, which is the crown chakra, and then the black chakra below and the white chakra above. And I just want to kind of link all this together because I think some people are assuming that I'm just going to keep running Dragon Medicine forever because I'm the dragon guy. But that isn't the case. I'm going to be running these 3 groups of Dragon Medicine all the way through. And then we'll see. Like, I'm someone who follows my instincts, and that's how I first connected with the dragons. I had no plan to connect with them. It was a purely instinctive situation, and I don't know exactly what will be coming next. I feel like it's likely to be more moving towards gods and goddesses, but I don't know. Maybe I'll keep one Dragon Medicine group running, but I don't know. So I just want to make sure that that's really clear, because the opportunities to go through Dragon Medicine are limited. So this opening in January is, a rare one. So take a look in the description below and have a think about whether or not that feels like something that you'd like to do while it's still here. So today has been a strange day for me. Yesterday was my birthday, and I'm one of these people who had quite a difficult birth, actually. I nearly died when I was born. And birthdays for me don't feel like a very happy time. They feel quite intense. So usually what happens for me on my birthday is I start very, very deep traumas start surfacing. And yesterday was no exception. And today has been pretty similar. So I just want to mention that because I'm really committed to being honest and authentic. And I really don't like it when spiritual teachers act like they don't have any problems. I think it's really deceptive, and I don't think it helps anyone. Because every spiritual teacher is a human being, and they all have ups and downs in their lives. And I think if more of them spoke about that, that would be good for everyone, because it normalizes those experiences. So the difficulty that I went through yesterday, just a lot of emotional pain, feeling completely exhausted by the end of the day, barely able to move, and just laying down, watching a movie, and barely even being able to speak, just from being so emotionally drained and feeling very, very negative. That happens to me pretty regularly. I mean, it was more exaggerated yesterday and today, but I regularly experience things like that, like going into negative spirals, having difficult days. It's like really consistent. And I just want to be honest about it, because I'm just tired of teachers not being honest about it, and then seeing the students of those teachers kind of trying to aspire to be something that is impossible to achieve. Like they'll never ever reach some state when they're free of the difficulties of human life. So why are we creating this scam between teachers and students? It just makes no sense to me. So I really don't want to be a part of that problem, so I want to just talk about it. And I also honestly just felt like I had to speak to just move it through my own system. It just felt like I needed to express what's inside. And for me, just to give a little more clarity on what this is like for me, because I really don't want kind of well-meaning comments where it's like, giving me advice or pitying me, because I actually feel very strong and I know what I'm doing and I know where I'm going. I'm not saying it because I want advice or because I want pity. I'm saying these things because it's important to be honest, and because saying it helps it move through my system. I know what I'm doing, and I think it's important, this level of honesty. I think that's the future that we're moving into. I think that people are getting more and more tired of deceit, even if it's little, even if it's well-meaning, and there's lots of excuses that can be made for not being honest. But I just really don't want to be a part of that. So when I'm moving through these, what you might call negative cycles, what I'm aware of and what's different to how I experienced things like this before I started to awaken is that I can see what's happening. So I can see the patterns, I can feel the energies, I can see how it's linked to the past and past lives, I can see how it's linked to collective energies. And that awareness gives me choice, or more choice. It feels like a huge knot being unwound, and as it's being unwound, light moves through it and I can see more clearly. Something like that. And I feel like the mass awakening of humanity is also something like that. Like the unwinding of sticky threads and the light shining through the gaps that are created, until eventually we kind of all awaken like an eyelid opening. So alongside the depression and the emotional heaviness and pain that I've been moving through, there's also a very deep sense of power. So there's a kind of awareness of my own power. I've also got more awareness in my body. My body feels very open and alive, albeit also painful and vulnerable. And that feeling gives me a sense that I know what's happening. I don't need to resist it because I can see that it's having a positive outcome. It's more, I just need to trust this process and allow it to do what it needs to do. And when this has happened to me in my life, I sometimes call this going into the ashes, or journeying into the underworld. I like the imagery of ashes. I feel like I'm being turned into ash, and that a part of me is rising from those ashes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to channel Gorkarith for you and for me. Some of you will also be feeling this because we had the full moon yesterday, and we're in Scorpio season. It was quite an intense full moon as well. So let's see what Gorkarith says and what he has for you and for me. Ki andarayon sture. Ki andarayon sture. Shi andaran. Ki anay. Ki andarayon. Ni andarayon. So I'm just tuning myself in. I am Gorkarith. Black dragon of the rising rose. For those who have been here before, you're probably familiar with me and my energy. For those who aren't, I invite you to feel my energy. As always, that is the primary way that I teach. I invite you to feel below yourself, the bottom half of your body. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel your body from your belly button down. Your abdomen, your pelvis, your legs, your feet, the soles of your feet. The way your body connects with the earth beneath you, blending as one single organism, dissolving in an ocean of dark tranquility. Yesterday, Jack went to an art exhibition and there was a video playing, and it was all about the trees. And in it, somebody was saying that beneath the soil, the trees are all connected. And that actually, instead of thinking about trees as if they are individual beings, it makes a lot more sense to think of them as one single enormous being. A huge being that exists underneath the ground. And what we see as individuals are actually just like the fingers of a hand. The hand is underneath the soil, but then the fingers come up out of the soil. So it looks like there are 5 trees, but in actuality there's just one hand. I am a deity of the underworld. I am a deity of the unseen, of the unconscious, of the void. I am a deity of that soil that they spoke about in that video. And it is in that soil that each and every one of us are united. And what you see, all of these individual forms moving around, this person, that person, whoever they may be, they are just like the fingers of that hand rising up out of the soil that unites us all. Gyananun. Though I'm using words, the words are not what I'm using to teach you. I'm teaching you through energy. It's my being, my nature, being transmitted to you. And those of you who feel it, what you feel is a memory. It is a reminder of who and what you are. It is a returning of knowledge, self-knowledge, knowledge of reality, the direct experience of understanding. Now Jack's been suffering today and yesterday and for longer. So what's happening? Well, that underworld, that vast, vast network that unites us all, it needs to move. It needs to reorganize itself. It needs to open. It needs to expand. It needs to bring itself forward. It needs to unearth itself so that the light of your consciousness may touch it. And in that touching, an alchemical reaction take place. Much like water falling on soil that contains seeds, and that mixture of fertile soil and water and light causes the seeds to open and new life to be born. So what's been happening to him is what's been happening to you. The unearthing and the revealing of the unconscious dimensions of your own self, moving through you. And in that movement, in that realignment, an alchemical process taking place that is the awakening of you and the awakening of humanity as a whole. Again, do not mistake my words for the lesson here. Feel the energy beneath them. That is where you will grow. Do not try and understand what I'm saying with your mind. Simply feel what I'm saying. What I'm communicating is really a knowledge of the mechanisms of the underworld. And I'm communicating it to help your body and mind to accept these realities. And of course, when I say you, I'm referring to Jack as well. I want to help him and support him through this shifting that he's going through. And I'm not the only one supporting him, nor supporting you. You are all supported by vast networks, vast councils, vast almost governments of what you would call supernatural beings. And some of you are awakening to this. Not as an idea, not as a concept in your mind, not something that makes you overexcited and ungrounded. But it's dawning. The reality of our interconnection is dawning within your minds as it dawns in Jack's at this moment, as he remembers that my words are his words, that he and I are one, that there is no division between us. That remembrance is key. To know that there is only one being, and that being is the human and the dragon simultaneously. That all of this life is something like a hall of mirrors with one being in it, but its reflection created thousands, millions, billions, trillions of times, each slightly different, each a reforming of something formless, something timeless. Soon I'll draw this to a close, but what I really want to say is that myself and countless other beings have your back. And I'm referring to the back specifically because that's your most vulnerable point. It's the area that you can't see. It's the area that the light of your eyes does not fall upon. So you need to have something there, something to protect you, something that watches your back. And I'm one of those beings. So for now, I leave you. I hope that this Scorpio season flows well for you. And if you're watching this and the Scorpio season has been and gone, I hope that you receive the protection and guidance that you need at this time. Thank you, and goodbye.